Hey guys, welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head. As you know, I usually like to do these videos kind of off the cuff, so I'm going to do this one today. Did have some notes written down that I wanted to go over, but I can't seem to find them. So I'm going to try to remember what I wrote down the other day. I planned on doing a video yesterday, but I'm still having problems with my microphone, as in this little girl right here. Come on up, Maya. This little girl had eaten my headset. You all know that story if you've watched my last couple videos. There she is. So I was a little bit stuck with using my regular headset. Hopefully it sounds a little bit better now. I've got just a generic headset. Um, and I did actually try to go buy a cheap headset. This was one that I got from my local um, uh, outlet store or whatever. It was like 15 bucks. I was hoping it would work. It said it would work with a PC, but I can't get any of the drivers to work, nor will it set up. So it'll actually do sound, but I can't get the mic to work very well. So I ended up just getting this real cheap headset. I'm actually thinking about maybe purchasing my first microphone and getting a good set of earphones. So I'm debating on that, but hopefully this will work. Enough of that said. As the title of the video probably says, I haven't even thought of a title yet, but I wanted to talk about if you are creating and this I'm actually doing this, um, creating a fleet training program, an FC training program um, for your corporation or your alliance. Um, and you're doing it from scratch. Maybe you've flown in a few fleets before. I've only flown in a couple, and it's been quite a while since I've actually done a lot of them. I'm remembering some of the things I want to do, but part of playing this game is trying and failing on different things. But I like to take and use in-world, uh, real-world um, knowledge and sometimes apply it to here and see how it works. And then once we try it out for a little while, then maybe do some more research and things like that. So last week I messaged out to my corporation. We have been doing a few of the home front operations, um, but no PVP fleets. So I wrote down some notes of things that I thought would be good to get started with doing a fleet up and how to get used to doing it and doing it in a structured way that you can build upon um, how you're doing it and then also train others to do it as well, which is probably the more important part because then they'll have fun doing what they're doing. So our corporation's goal, we're a small corporation right now, but we'd like to give everybody a chance to learn maybe to do some fleet commanding, some FCing, even if they're in small areas. And so part of that is a couple of different things that I wanted to focus on to start off with for the first couple times we go out and try to do our first PvP missions. Now, at first, I will talk about what I have seen in the past not work, and it can be very, very costly. Um, and then I'd like to show you what I'm slowly coming up with. It's not a full blown plan, it's a beginning plan that can be grown upon and added onto as we successfully do certain things. And a lot of those things don't revolve around how much DPS you apply or how expensive your ships are. It's more about working together for a common goal. And to give a really quick, simple example, 10 years ago, whenever I was a miner and we were out in NullSec in a small alliance that was out there, we were constantly being um, attacked. And why were we being attacked? Because we were content for other people, because we didn't know what we were doing. We were a bunch of miners who thought we could build expensive ships and do expensive things, and we could fill up kill boards for other better PvP corporations. But nobody wanted to fly the cheap ships, or they had ideas of what they could do. And it was kind of comical, some of the craziness. Like, they didn't know how to meet at a save point. They didn't know how to set up comms. They thought they did, um, but half the people would be on, half the people wouldn't have microphones. And then if somebody died, their characters would be sent all the way to high sec instead of a clone coming up to the station so they could refit and get back into the fight. All sorts of things that have nothing to do with DPS and nothing to do with how expensive your ships are. So my thought was to fly really cheap, easy to fly ships that will be blown up in, that we can constantly be using to work on our tactics. And then as we get better with calling out targets and things like that, we can then slowly ramp up our ships so that we're doing better and better with things. Um, so, that said, and this part of this is for I'm going to be forwarding this video out to my corp so that they understand where I'm coming from. Um, Recently, I messaged out in the first part of this is going to sound crazy. The first part, I think, about successful um, leadership or successful training is to schedule it. And that sounds crazy, but if you don't show up on time or you don't have something scheduled, if you do something ad hoc, people don't know what they're building upon. So if you know that if on a Monday night at zero eve time every Monday, guys are going to form up and they're going to fly together. It's just like going to practice, a football practice, basketball practice, European football practice for all my friends out there. Um, and if people aren't showing up on time, then that throws everything out of whack. Now, my job in the real world is as a I'm considered a trainer, but I'm more of a training coordinator. I organize the training classes so that the people who conduct the classes can do them um, in a structured environment so that everybody can learn or have the opportunity to learn. The second part of it is to, when you're training people, try to simplify the training to the lowest common denominator. And I'm not saying people are dumb, I'm not saying that, but different people have different talents. So I'll give an example. Um, let's say I have somebody who is really good with quality work, but their speed is really slow. Okay? Then I have a second person who is really fast at doing their current job and picking things up, but their quality is really low. So let's say I have a third task that I'm trying to train these two people at who are completely different types of people. Now, do you focus on the speed element or do you focus on the quality element of it? And there's other things involved, but I'm simplifying. The You actually don't focus on either one. What you have to do is take the lowest common denominator of both. So even if this person has a lot of quality, you need to start your training at the same level as the person who has the lowest quality. Because if you're talking above this person over here with a low quality, they will not grasp what's going on. Same factor. Let's say we're talking somebody who picks things up quickly while the other person learns slowly. You've got to lower that down so that everyone understands what's going on. Yeah, maybe it might be a little bit frustrating for the person who has been playing Eve for the last 5 years and they already know how to fire hybrid guns. Um, what you tell that person is, you haven't done this for a while, or you're going to know 90% of it, but that 10% gap is what's going to put you ahead of everybody else. While during the training, we're going to catch that person who knows 0% of hybrid guns up to the 90% you were at, and then you move on from there and you slowly ramp everybody up at the same time so that the person who's in charge, the fleet commander, knows exactly the capabilities of everybody that's in that group and does it. So what I'm doing is I've set up a scheduled day that every week my corporation will meet, and maybe it'll grow into multiple days if other people want to take it over or do another day as we grow. But we're going to have one day that we get together and try to get blown up as much as possible, but work on the basics of fleeting up and doing the simple things first. So, how do you do the simple things? Well, PvP revolves around um, being able to form up, find a target, go get to that target, holding them down, because if you're not holding them down, they will get away unless I know there's other things you can one shot people and stuff like that, but we're not worried about that. We're talking about regular, simple, basic PvP. You need to hold them down, shoot at them till they die. Okay? So, how do you do that? As you see right in front of me is a very, very simple fit of an Atron. It's one of the most simple ships that's out there. It is what's called a tackle frigate. Now, a lot of, if not all, many, many, many fleets out there always have tackle frigates. If you have new members, new players, they can always jump into a tackle frigate first. Now, a little bit different from those fleets and the fleets that I'm going to run is we are going to focus at the very beginning on everyone knowing how to fly a tackle frigate. So in other fleets, you may have a construction of a couple of tackle frigates, a couple of DPS frigates, a couple of Logi ships. You can't do all that stuff if you don't know who's good at what and who's trained in what and what those things are. So the first couple of fleets that we're going to do is everyone's going to get into one of these cheap little ships, and we're going to fly in a group, and we're going to work on our comms. We're going to work on our fleet warping. We're going to work on going from gate to gate. We're going to work on calling out targets. Um, Even things prior to the fleet up, making sure that everyone's in a deadhead clone so we don't lose any implants. We're going to make sure that people have their home base set up so if they do get blown up, which they will be, these are cheap ships, that they will be able to clone back to the main bay or main station and pick up another Atron and get right back into the fight. Those are the things that we're going to focus on at first, and once we get those down, then we can then progress and um, move on to better ships. Now, why did I pick the Atron over like an Incursus? Simplicity. This Atron has just is simply a gunship, a very very fast gunship that has um, three slots in the middle, so you get a spot. So you've got your guns up top, three of those. There is a fourth slot here, but we won't worry about that right now. Then you have your mid slots. You've got your tackle here, your warp scrambler, or you can put in a uh, uh, warp disruptor on there. We're going to go with a warp scrambler first. Basic, not bonus. Yeah, you can get a bunch of these out there, but we're going to build these really a lot of them at once. Um, then a web of fire to slow the other guys down so they can't get outside of that tackle. Then also have our and I always get stuck with this, our thing that makes us go faster. I can't think of the word for it. Oh, a micro warp drive. Put that on here. So now we're super fast. We can close our range as quickly as possible. Going with a micro warp drive instead of the afterburner, because sometimes we want to get in there and tackle some guys as quickly as possible. Down below, so you got 3, 3, and 3 down below here. We've got an armor repair that might keep us in the fight a little bit longer, We've got a little bit of damage control, basic, keep us in the fight a little bit longer, and then some magnetic field one magnetic field stabilizer, just to give us a little bit more power of damage in the guns themselves. So this is the basic ship that we have. Not even any rigs in it yet. Down the road, we can upgrade this. Um, we may even give out some bonuses for people for surviving and killing somebody. Um, that's another thing. You want to keep people motivated. I will probably during these fleet ups be running um, some contests. I've been able to accumulate over the last couple of weeks from some of my old characters, some of the junk that I had lying around, and it's not really junk, it's just stuff I'll never use, implants and other things that I might be able to give out for whoever gets a kill if we do get one, or whoever's the last man standing, that sort of thing. So, this is the ship that we're going to be using for the foreseeable future during these training things. And once you get done with training, you can go out and fly your expensive ships and get blown up in those. But recognize what the fleet up is for. This fleet up that we're going to be doing is for training. It's not for actually killing, going to try to kill something. We want to know that we can get it done. So I've set up a date. I've come up with a ship that we're going to use. I actually forwarded this ship to um, one of our Corp members. He's already built 10 of these ships. It's not that hard to make a bunch of Atrons. Um, oh, and I'm sorry. Why didn't I go with the Accursus? And I know this is dumb because the Accursus is kind of known for being more of a tanky, sometimes a better um, uh, combat ship, where this is more of a tackle frigate, but you can make an Accursus tackle frigate because, and this is going to sound weird, the Accursus has one drone slot. And I don't want to deal with drones right now. Down the road we will, but I don't want everybody to be worried about, okay, I got to get my one single drone out and then I got to put my guns on things and blah, 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 blah. No, I just want people to worry about tackling and shooting people. That's it. And then if you want to throw your armor repair, less to learn until you get it down until you move on. So that's what we've got here. That bugs me. I never get any messages. Oh, wasn't a message. It was I downloaded the Eve portal to my phone, and now it's letting me know when I get emails. Um, so that is that. There's other things that are going to be involved here. I'm going to be emailing out to my corporation probably later on today. The setup and the time. Well, they already know the time, but the setup for the fleet. One other thing that I'm going to do, and it's what I've learned over the last 2 months or so. Um, I'm going to make a skill plan for this. Um, Now, you might be thinking, why would you ever make a skill plan for a Atron? Anybody can skill into that super quick. It's not to make that skill plan, it's to get into the practice of creating a skill plan that works whenever we do move into bigger ships, that I'm used to setting those up, or people are getting used to setting those up and seeing what we can grow on. Start simply, move on from there. So, long story short, like I said, this is kind of an off the cuff video. It is a work day for me, so I'm starting to tire out a little bit, even though I have my coffee here. That's the goal. So, if you guys have any thoughts, any ideas, um, this is one of the few times I'm going to ask for you not to blow up my comment section with your ideas of fits down the road or things like that. Not worried about that. We're going to make our mistakes, and I like to do that in super cheap ships. Um, and we're going to learn from our bumps in the roads and have some fun doing it. I just heard a great phrase. Um, you either succeed or something. There's two things that can happen when you do something. I think this is where the phrase goes. You either succeed at it or you learn from it. If you notice, I didn't say you failed at it. If you're doing things right, you either succeed at it or you learn from the situation. That's the way we're going to do it, or at least my goal. I like that phrase. I just heard it like a day ago, and I really liked it. So, all right, that's all I got for tonight. Super I was actually having some energy, and then I started doing this video. I'm tiring it out. So that's all I got. Fly safe, fly dangerously, fly hard like you want. And I will talk to you guys soon, or actually in a day or two. I'm feeling I'm not gonna need my rest tomorrow. So, hey, fly safe. Have a good one. Bye bye.